Hello, and welcome to the CA Arcserve D2D video series. This topic is how to perform bare metal recovery with CA Arcserve D2D. Bare metal recovery, or BMR, is the process of restoring a computer system from bare metal, including reinstalling the operating system and software applications, and then restoring the data and settings. The BMR process lets you restore a full computer with minimal effort, even to different hardware. In order to perform BMR, you must have created a BMR ISO image and burned it onto a CD, DVD, or portable USB stick, and you must have at least one full backup available. To start, first boot the machine on which you want to perform the BMR using any of the required bootable media. From the Windows Boot Manager screen, choose whether to restore in an x86 or x64 environment, and then press Enter. A slim version of Windows would start, on top of which BMR runs. Starting Windows. Select your preferred language and keyboard layout, and then click Next. The bare metal recovery process is initiated. For our purpose, we'll select the first option, Recover Data Backed Up Using CA Arcserve D2D. This option lets you recover data that was backed up using CA Arcserve D2D or CA Arcserve Central Host-based VM Backup. Click Next. The Select Recovery Point wizard screen is displayed and a scan is automatically performed on all the directly attached storage devices to see if they contain any D2D recovery points. If recovery points are found, they are automatically populated in the BMR console. If no recovery points are found, the Select Folder window automatically opens to allow you to browse for D2D recovery points on the network. At this time, before searching for a recovery point, click Cancel to exit this window. This returns you back to the Select a Recovery Point wizard screen. Before accessing the D2D recovery points from the network location, ensure that the network adapter is detected and correct drivers are installed for the adapter. A valid IP address is assigned, and the machine can communicate with the network destination. Click on Utilities menu in the bottom left corner. The available options are Load Driver Utility. This utility is similar to the Windows Device Manager and can be used to verify which devices have been detected and if any of the device drivers have been properly installed. This utility also provides the option to inject or install the device drivers. Network configuration. This can be used to view the current network configuration and make appropriate changes. Activity log. This is used to view the BMR activity log. Run. This can be used to launch an application or run a command. Select the Load Driver Utility option. The Load Driver Utility is launched. By default, all the devices are grouped under 4 categories. Storage devices lists all the devices like disk, storage controller, or disk drives. Network devices list all the networking devices and network adapters. Other devices list all the other devices which are not listed for storage and network devices. However, the device drivers have been installed for the devices under this group. Unknown devices list all the devices which have been detected but do not have the corresponding device drivers installed. Expand Unknown Devices list and see if there are any critical devices listed. Select it and click on Install Driver to install the device driver on the fly. You can click on a listed device to get more information about the device before making a selection. After verifying all critical devices have been detected and have the appropriate device drivers installed, click Close to exit the Load Driver utility. This returns you back to the Select a Recovery Point wizard screen. To verify the network communication, click on Utilities, then Run. Type the command CMD and click OK. This launches the Windows command prompt. From the Windows command prompt, run a ping to the D2D network destination. Verify the result to ensure there are no network communication issues. After verifying these results, close the command prompt. This returns you back to the Select a Recovery Point wizard screen. Click on Browse button to access the backup destination which contains the recovery points. The Select Folder dialog is displayed. Type the remote share where the backups are residing. The complete path needs to be provided, which can contain the host name or the IP address. After providing the path, click on the arrow button to authenticate and establish a connection. The Windows Security dialog is launched. Provide the credentials for the share and click OK. Select the folder which contains the recovery points and click OK. After the backup destination is selected, all the recovery points for that destination are automatically populated. The related information for the selected recovery point is displayed in the lower right pane. This display includes such information as the type of backup that was performed, the backup destination, and the volumes that were backed up. For supported operating systems, you can perform a BMR from a backup performed on a UEFI machine to a BIOS-compatible machine, and from a BIOS machine to a UEFI-compatible machine. For operating systems that do not support firmware conversion, after you select a recovery point, if it is detected that the source machine is not the same firmware as your system, you will be asked if you want to convert UEFI to a BIOS-compatible system or BIOS to UEFI-compatible system. After reviewing the information, select the recovery point which needs to be restored and click Next. Select the recovery mode. Select Advanced Mode if you want to customize the recovery process. Select Express Mode if you want minimal interaction during the recovery process. For our purpose, we'll select Advanced Mode and click Next. This Advanced Mode is especially useful in cases when the restore is being performed to dissimilar hardware or where there is a difference in size or the number of disks. The BMR utility initializes the disk and displays the corresponding disk partition information. The upper pane shows the disk configuration that you have on the current target machine, and the lower pane shows the disk partition information that you had on the original source machine which you are recovering. Depending on the size of the partitions in the original source machine, BMR utility automatically creates the layout of the partition and maps them to the source. You can scroll the mouse pointer over each disk or partition to view more detailed information. When you hover the mouse pointer over the partitions under the current disk layout, it displays information such as current file system, capacity of the partition, and the mapping of the partition. Highlight the partition for which additional operations need to be performed and click on Operation. Depending on the configuration of the selected partition, all or some of the options can be performed. You can select the Resize Volume option from the drop-down menu to increase or decrease the size of the partition. When you select Resize Volume option, the Modify Volume Size dialog is launched. From here, the size of the partition can be increased until the maximum disk space is reached. However, it cannot be reduced below the size of the original source partition from which it's mapped. After specifying the new size of the partition, click OK. This returns you back to the Adjust Disk Partition screen. The disk and volume configuration is now displayed under the current layout, but it is not yet committed and can still be reset to undo any changes. To reinitialize the disks and reset the changes, click on Reset from the Operations drop-down menu. If you're satisfied with the disk and volume configuration, click Next. The Submit Disk Changes dialog is launched, displaying a summary of the disk operation. The information is displayed for each operation, such as deleting or creating a partition. Review the information and click on Submit to commit the changes to disk. The results of the operation are now displayed. Click OK to continue. A summary of the restore settings is displayed. Review the settings, and if everything is OK, click OK to continue. The recovery process starts. The BMR wizard screen displays the restore status for each volume. Depending upon the size of the volume being restored, this operation can take some time to complete. By default, the Automatically Reboot Your System After the Recovery option is selected. If you prefer, this option can be unchecked so that the machine can be rebooted manually at a later time. One advantage of having the option unchecked is that the activity log can be viewed and collected at the end of the BMR for troubleshooting. If necessary, you can cancel or abort the BMR process at any time. As the recovery process continues, the status for each volume restored is changed to Complete, and the Next button is activated. Click Next to proceed. At this point, a check is performed to see if all the critical hardware devices from the current machine have matching device drivers in the restored Windows operating system image. After the check is complete, the new hardware device drivers are injected into the restored Windows operating system image. If prompted for any additional device drivers, point to the path which contains the additional device driver and verify that the version of the device driver is compatible with the operating system from the original machine we are restoring. After the device drivers are injected, the Prepare to Reboot screen is displayed. Click on Reboot to reboot the machine. To collect the logs required for troubleshooting, launch the Activity Log utility. It is recommended that you save these logs before rebooting the machine. The Activity Log utility is launched. From the File menu, click on Collect All Log Files to save all the BMR logs required for troubleshooting. To save the BMR activity log, which is displayed in the utility, click on Save As from the File menu. The logs can be saved to either a local disk like a USB stick or a network location. After the logs have been saved, close the Activity Log utility. This returns you back to the Prepare to Reboot screen. Click on Reboot to reboot the machine and start the recovered server. Just as a note, after the completion of BMR, the first backup that is performed will be a verified backup. That's it. For more detailed information about this procedure, you should always check the official D2D user documentation. Thanks for watching, and be sure to visit our website where you can view other titles in this video series.